So many buttons, so many places. All right, just gonna move this up. Oh, shoot. Let me do this. Sorry, guys. Oh yeah, sorry. Okay. Okay, okay, okay. Hello. I just want to say good morning because I'm most of the time in the morning here, but it's not really morning. So my youngest has his bar mitzvah on Saturday. And I know. For those of you who were in this room while I was walking around this pregnant, it feels like it was like yesterday, but maybe Sharon was. I think you were probably around when I was waddling around the room. But it has me thinking about sort of just ritual practices and like how ritual practices fit into our lives. Like Judaism is a very ritual rich um, religion, right? I mean, I guess probably most of them are on their like sort of orthodox levels, right? But hi, how are you? Um, so there's, to me, I've had sort of a mixed relationship with ritual. It's like I'm a person who does not like being told what to do most of the time. So there's that side of it, but there's also this comfort that comes from knowing that you walk into any synagogue anywhere in the world on a Friday night and the prayers are going to be the same. You walk in on a Saturday morning, it's going to be the same parsha everywhere on earth, the same melody, the same, right, the same words. And there's connection in that, and there's a comfort in that, and just feeling that you are part of something, part of something that's bigger than just you. It sort of takes you out of yourself a little bit. And that's really what ritual does for us. Rituals is sort of like a ritual time is like a time outside of time. So, sometimes the calendar dictates that. We have weekly rituals. We have daily rituals, right? There's like the daily prayers we're supposed to say. There's weekly. We have Shabbat every week. We have, and then of course over the course of the year, there's we have the holidays. We have, and then there's the one-offs like the bar mitzvahs or the bigger events. But all of these things, like what makes them particular to like a particular ritual is that it's this sacred time, right? It creates sacredness in time, that we're sort of stepping outside of our regular day-to-day, right? And into that. So there's that side of it, but then there's also this yogi side of me that says, well, we don't have to wait for the calendar to dictate that. We don't have to wait for someone to, I mean, that's more of the yoga. And actually, I think Judaism actually says it pretty well also. There doesn't have to be, doesn't have to be a particular time to be a sacred time. If you are in the moment feeling very connected, feeling love, feeling, connected to spirit, connected to nature, connected to God. Those are sacred moments. And sometimes that happens in a synagogue. Sometimes it happens during prayer. And often it happens lots of other times, but we're not thinking about it in that way. We're like attuned to like walking into that space, or maybe you've had the opposite where it's like you walk into that space and it's like, it doesn't feel particularly like that. It doesn't feel particularly like sacred time. My journey, ironically, was like, I didn't feel a lot of that. I've always felt a lot of it just in general in my own life, but I didn't particularly feel it in some of the very strict rituals that I was raised within. And then sort of, as I was growing older, created my own rituals, found yoga, started doing, and then it allowed me to sort of circle back in this beautiful way that I could bring that awareness to my Jewish practices, and there was definitely like a full circle moment there. So ritual is this sacred time. Another definition that I love of ritual is that it's repetition with intention. So it's like when we're doing something again and again, like even just on the kind of neurological level, when you do something repetitively, it hacks the path through the woods more clearly, so that your brain, and when you're doing that with an intention, whatever your intention is, whatever that is for yourself of connection or of whatever it is, that pathway, that groove, that neural pathway becomes stronger so that it's easier to just hit into it, so that then when we're out in the world and we're not walking into a prayer session or into a yoga class or into our meditation or whatever these more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like more ritualized events are happening, it can still be sacred time, right? Okay, so that's going to be our focus for the practice today. It's just of that repetition with intention. My brain is full of a lot of details right now for the next couple of days, so I'm going to really, I'll be with you, but I'm a little like, my brain is bar mitzvah Saturday. It's yes, in 2 days. So I'm a little, yeah, you'll forgive me. That's okay. All right. So let's take a moment. Let's sit together. Even like the arc of our yoga practice, it's a ritual. We come together, we talk a little, we settle together, we move together, we breathe together, we lay down together, we rise back up together, hopefully, feeling a little bit more connected to each other, to the practice. So maybe just let yourself, as you close your eyes and you settle into this first, these first moments of your own practice, just let yourself soften, open up a little bit, and just connect to what this particular ritual brings you. And I mean, really, even particular this class, because many of you do yoga other places, in other spaces, even in this space, but not with this awareness, of our Jewish neshama, our Jewish soul being brought into it. So perhaps even feel how maybe this moment feels a little different, maybe even than other moments of yoga. And how there's this comfort in just not having to think so much about it. You can just sort of let yourself settle into it rather than create it. Take a few moments to just focus on your breath, to allow yourself to become really present, aware. And as you bring your hands onto your heart, just if there's some intention that might make this practice more meaningful for you this morning, quality you want to bring forth, a connection you want to strengthen, really anything. When we take this moment to set the intention, it helps to create sacred time. So whatever that is for you, set it into your heart. And then we begin this practice together with the word Hineni. So we chant Hineni 3 times together. If you'd like to join, take in a deep breath. Hineni. Hineni. Let your head bow to your heart. As you're ready, release your hands. Let your eyes open. Okay, let's come up to standing. We're gonna do some standing warm-ups. So maybe face the long edge of your mat so that you can step your feet a little wider than hip distance. Rest your hands onto your knees, bend your knees, rest your hands onto your thighs. That's it. And then just start with some cat and cow. So as you inhale, arch your back. As you exhale, round your spine. And just flow back and forth. You know, we often start yoga classes, yoga practices with this movement as a way to just sort of sync up movement and breath in a really felt, really experiential way. And because we've done it for many of us so many times, you know, it feels like we don't have to think about it. The body just sort of, the muscle memory takes over. Not really muscle memory, right? Muscles don't have memory, but you can do it without thinking about it too much, which allows our mind a little freedom to then focus on the deeper parts of the practice. How is the breath moving? How is my energy moving? How am I experiencing my body today, this moment? Do one more round. Good. Come on up, straighten your legs, take your arms out wide. Stretch your legs long, stretch your arms long, get taller through your spine, longer through your legs, longer through your arms. Good. And then we're going to take that cat and cow movement. We're going to add the legs. So as you exhale, bend your knees, take your hands to the floor. And if it's too hard to reach the floor, of course, use blocks. So take a breath in here, tip your sit bones up, lift your chest and your head a little. And then exhale and let your legs straighten a little bit. Let your spine round over your head. And then inhale and bend, lift your chest, hips back. Exhale, straighten your legs, fold over. And a couple more just like that. Inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, straighten. Yep, and then keep going. Couple more, just letting your body move without having to, again, think about it so much. It's the focus of the practice this week, is these sort of nothing complicated, no complex poses to learn. Lots of stuff we've probably done a lot of times, so that we can just feel the sacredness in that repetition. Last one. Good. Bend your knees again. Look forward. Sweep your hands behind your back and lace your fingers. Stretch your arms back behind you. Lift your shoulder blades onto your back. Then exhale, straighten your legs and fold over, reaching your arms up towards the sky. If this bothers your back, you can always keep your knees bent. It might feel more comfortable that way. Okay, inhale, come up halfway, lift your chest, lift your shoulders, lift your arms a little higher. Exhale, fold over again, reaching your arms a little higher. Let your head and neck release a little more. And one more time like that. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, fold over. Hold here with the legs straight or straightish, reaching your arms up towards the ceiling. And just focusing on your breath, allowing each breath to be a sacred act, a sacred moment of connection to the one that breathes you. Exhale, release your hands to the floor. Yeah, and then come on all the way up. Sorry, I'm just taking that off. Reach up, stretch your arms out. Okay, we're going to go into this pattern now. Actually, let's do this one first. Hands onto your knees like this. Fingertips pointing inwards. So instead of turning out, turn in. Good. And then you're going to dip your right shoulder down towards your left knee. Look up over your left shoulder. Pause here for a moment. Notice how the right hip wants to dip down and the right knee wants to straighten. So keep the right knee pressing out wide so you get a little more twist in your spine. Good. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, go over to the other side. Good. Hold here for a moment. Press your left hip to the left. Turn your belly a little more to the right. Good. And then a couple more side to side here. You can either hold for a couple of breaths on one side, or if you feel like you need to move a little, you can keep it moving just one breath at a time. But again, shifting side to side. That's it. Yep. Twisting in the torso, creating a little more length and space in the side body and your shoulders, maybe in the hips a little. Finish with your second side, whatever that is. And then inhale, come on up, straighten your legs and your arms, reach up and out. All right, here's the next pattern. You're going to take your left hand towards your right foot on the floor. You're going to twist and look up over your right shoulder, bend your right knee. Good. And then inhale, come up, windmill up, straighten your legs. Exhale, right hand towards the left foot, left arm up, left knee bend. Inhale, windmill up. Good. Side to side, your pace. Again, you can hold if you need to move a little more, move a little faster. That's it. With your breath, your pace, your rhythm, creating sacred ritual for yourself, whatever that looks like. You know, I think often we get caught up in, oh, am I doing it right? You know, whether that's saying a prayer correctly in services, whether it's doing a yoga pose correctly. And it's not that there's not value in like learning the prescribed way of doing things, right? Finish with your second side. There is value in that. Come on up, right? Knowing the right way. Exhale, release your arms. But it's also like it's like jazz in a way. It's like, you know, you got to kind of learn the scales so then you can improvise, you know? And yoga is the same. Step your feet together. It's like, you know, you learn the ways that were laid out, but I often remind my students that the classical forms of the poses that we do were created in India like 100 years ago for like 14-year-old boys. So if you're not a 14-year-old boy in India 100 years ago, those poses might not work that great in your body, you know? Come face forward, stand at the front of your mat. And so, you know, yoga is not about like taking these shapes and forcing our body to fit into them. You know, it's like, oh, these are some shapes that might help to do some things in our bodies. How can I fit this body into that and create it for myself? So we're going to go through some sun salutations. So that's that sort of set sequence of poses that a lot of our things in yoga are built upon. We're going to break it down a little and then we'll put it all back together. Just as a way, this is like one of the sort of sacred rituals of yoga that like if you walk into any yoga studio anywhere in the world, sun salute looks like sun salute, you know? Okay, so come to the front of your mat. The first pose is Tadasana. I was thinking about it this morning, like, you know, what's the difference between Tadasana and just standing around? You know, Tadasana is like it's like the Hineni pose, you know, if you're just kind of standing around, you're like waiting, you know, Tadasana is like, I'm ready. I'm prepared. My body is awake, alert, you know? So feel your feet on the floor. Feel the muscles of your legs activate a little bit. Notice how you can stand without really activating the muscles. Everything can kind of sink, right? So feel a sense of just drawing upwards, inwards with the muscles of your legs, not in a way that feels tense, but in a way that feels supportive around your hips, around your knees. Take a moment just to notice if your thigh bones, we tend to stand with the thigh bones sort of rocked forward over the toes. And we really want the bones of the legs to be stacked. So for many of us, that means moving the thigh bones back. And then what that does is create more of a curve in the spine, which is good. We want a curve. But if it's too much curve, if we're feeling a little pressure there, right, then this action of tipping the tailbone down, toning your low belly, toning your pelvic floor is going to help with the low back. All right, keeping all that, lengthen up through your spine, roll your shoulders back, lengthen the front of your neck, the back of your neck, and then just be here for a breath. Hineni, Tadasana, just here with yourself. Even this can be a sacred moment. And then feel your breath. And on your next inhale, let your arms circle up to the sky. This is actually the next pose in the sequence. This is a pose similar to Tadasana, but the arms are up. If your neck is comfortable, gaze up to your fingertips. And with the arms raised up, feel how you can lengthen your side body, the sides of your waist, a little bit taller. Good. Then from your hips, hinge forward. So you want to come forward as you're sort of diving out. Nice long spine, and then fold and take your hands down to the floor. And if they don't reach the floor, grab your blocks. You want to be weight bearing your hands into something. Yeah. So Sharon, grab your blocks so that you get so that you can weight bear into your hands a little bit, and the discs of your spine are not taking the brunt of the weight of your head hanging down. Yeah, that's it. Okay, now this is the next pose, Uttanasana, forward bend. So just rock a little bit on your forward, front to back on your toes. So toes to heels a little bit, and just notice where the weight wants to fall. Some of us tend to fall into our toes. Some of us tend to rock back into our heels. See if you can find that balanced place where, again, the bones of the legs are stacked straight up. And then just pause there. Feel the strength of your legs.
muscles still awake and alert, and just let your spine spill over a little more. Let your head and your neck soften, your face soften. Push your fingers gently into whatever they're touching, floor or blocks. Okay, next pose of the sequence is plank pose. So you can get your hands flat to the floor and just walk your feet back. And you can land into a high plank, which is knees off the floor, or a low plank with your knees on the floor, just depending on where you need to be in your body this morning. Okay, start with your legs. Work your legs really strong here. Tone your legs. Yes, tone your glutes. Tone your low belly, your pelvic floor. Good. Now, firm your shoulder blades onto your back, but at the same time, push into the floor. And then lengthen your neck out of your shoulders. Grow your neck longer. Look forward slightly. Okay, drop your knees. Sit back into child's pose for a moment. Rest your hips back to your heels. Let your head release to the floor. This is not a pose in the sequence, but I'm giving you a rest because we're going to go through. The next one's is a challenging one, so I want you to take a moment to rest. If your wrists need a little love, just squeeze out the wrist, make a fist with your hand, and then open up your fingers, just taking care of the body here. You know, that's the sort of arc of the yoga practice. It's sort of similar to like the arc of a synagogue service. It's like we start with these very boisterous outward, you know, physical things that we do, singing, dancing, and then we progress towards these more inwardly focused things, you know, the Amida in our service, or like a child's pose in your yoga class. But we've got to take a minute before we can get there. All right, come up to tabletop. We're going to do something with a block. Take your block. We're going to work on chaturanga. So chaturanga is the pose where we lower down to the sometimes to the belly, sometimes just into a back bend. But it's a hard pose to work on because it's a hard pose. So if we use some support with a block, then we can work on the pose a little bit. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to put the block. I like this medium setting. The block goes underneath the pelvis, right above your pubic bone. So just take a moment to line yourself up. So it's your low belly right above your pubic bone on your block. That's it. Okay. Now, first thing to notice here is that your belly wants to sag down, right? Mine does. My belly definitely wants to sag down. So that's a key thing in chaturanga that we don't think about. We think so much about our wrists and our shoulders, right? But if we're working the core, it's going to make the wrists and the shoulders a lot easier. So tone your belly here a lot. Feel like you're lifting you're resisting your ribs up and away from the floor a little bit. Okay. Now slide your hands back so your arms are in a right angle. Yeah. Elbows over the wrists. Yeah. And then traditionally, so elbows up if you can, Sharon. Elbows up. Like that's it. Like the bottom of a push-up. Yeah, that's it. So arms are at a right angle. Now, lift your shoulder blades onto your back. Lengthen your neck a little bit. Good. If this feels like a lot, just breathe where you are. Keep your belly lifting, glutes toning if you want. Squeeze your knees up off the floor. Yeah. And just feel how your body here is in this straight line now. Okay, drop your knees back down, shift up to tabletop. Okay, now we're going to try it. We're going to still use the block, but here's my invitation. We're going to come back to that same thing. Just watch me for a moment. You're going to lower down, lift your knees, since y'all did that really well. Then ready? Watch me for a second. You're going to try to hover your pelvis off the block, just an inch, without straightening your arms, which is what's going to want to happen. So the elbows stay bent, legs strong. Yep. So try with knees up, try to just hover your pelvis. That's it. Yep. Shoulders stay low, pelvis up. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. Good. Drop your knees back down. Okay. Put your block to the side. So that gives us a moment to practice that. So now the sequence goes like this. So we went from forward bend to plank. And here's where chaturanga comes into the mix. So you can lower down, push off, come to back bend. You can also do it with knees down, right? You can be in a low plank position, lower down, push off. Now, back bend in the sequence. Traditionally, the back bend that we're going to is upward dog, which is here. Toes and hands on the floor, nothing else. Now, that's a lot on the shoulders. So some people like to just do a cobra down here, right? Or maybe a little higher cobra. So any one of those back bends works. Again, it's like we have this sort of prescribed way, this sequence, but we can listen and think about how that works. So let's do plank, chaturanga, and then let's work on the back bend. So plank, knees up or down, up to you. I'm going to do knees down. Bend your elbows. Keep your belly lifting. That's it. And then come down to your belly for a moment. Slide your hands back as far as you can. Squeeze your legs together and then press yourself up and see how this feels in your body. Come on to the tops of your feet. Yeah, arms straight, shoulders back. Yep, you could do it with knees down or knees up. If this is way too much, just drop your pelvis back down. Come to a low cobra. All right, go back to downward facing dog. All right, let's play with dog for a moment here. So there's different sort of variations of downward facing dog. Step your feet a little closer to your hands for a moment. Yeah, so just go in a little bit and get your heels a little closer to the floor. Maybe feel a little more stretch in your legs, right? A little more calf stretch, maybe a little more ankle stretch. But notice how your spine does not have a lot of freedom in this position. So now if you step back a little more, feel how then your spine can stretch a little bit more. Your heels might not go down, your legs might not get as much of a stretch, but you get a little more stretch into the shoulders, into the spine, right? And so just feel which one is working for you better today. That's your dog. Hands are pressing flat, arms nice and straight, hips up high, heels down low. Even if they're not touching, you're still extending your heels down. That's it. Take one more breath in your dog. Good. And then walk yourself back to forward bend. So walk back to the front of your mat. If it's easier to walk your hands to your feet, you can do it that way. And then with a long spine, look forward, lengthen your spine, sweep your arms up to the sky. And exhale back to Tadasana, Hineni. All right, so that's the sequence. We'll go through it a little faster now with breath. And if I'm going too fast, just take your time. Take it slower, modify where you need to. Questions? Fairly clear? All right, I know, it's a lot. All right, I'm gonna face this way. I feel like I always on my back this way. Okay, Tadasana, Hineni pose. Just be alert, aware, ready, open. Using your awareness and your breath and your mind and your heart and your intention to make this sacred time for yourself. On your next inhale, sweep your arms to the sky, stretch up tall. As you exhale, hinge from your hips and fold. Good, let's add in a breath here. So as you inhale, take your hands up onto your shins, lengthen your spine, take your chest forward, thighs back, take all the roundedness out of your back. And then exhale and fold fingertips to the floor, rounding over your legs. Okay, then bend your knees, walk back to plank. Good, high plank, knees up, or low plank, knees down. Tone your belly, glutes, legs, bend your elbows. Sweep forward into your back bend, whatever back bend is working for your body today. Up dog, low cobra, high cobra, wherever you are, make it a moment for yourself. Be there fully. And then exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths in your dog pose. Letting each breath be a moment of sacredness for yourself, a moment of connection, connecting with each other in the room, connecting into this practice that's been done for so many thousands of years. And then look forward and step forward. Walk yourself up to your hands, fold over your legs. Come up halfway, lengthen your spine, looking forward. Exhale and fold. And then inhale to come all the way up. Reach up tall. And exhale, release your arms by your sides. Okay, I want you to do one more round on your own, whatever that looks like. All right, like your own ritual, your own moment, your own, right? Don't think too much about it. Like, don't worry about what comes next, whatever. There's no, whereas, dogma can be helpful sometimes, like a rigid, I'm doing it right, I'm doing it wrong. It doesn't usually serve us in any way, right? Life is more gray than that. So, Tadasana. I'll do it with you, but I'm not going to talk. Inhale up. And then keep going on your own. Take your time, follow your breath. Aim for 3 long breaths in your dog pose.
We'll meet back together in Tadasana. Take your time. If you've landed there earlier than your neighbor, just be there. Be in this pose, this moment. Okay, we're going to do another sequence of sun salutation. So this one's a little different, just adds in some poses. We'll break it down, then we'll put it back together. All right, starts the same way. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen. We've been here already. Good. This time, as you exhale, bend your knees and step your right leg all the way back to lunge. Yeah. So again, traditional sequence, we just hold here, hands on the floor, back leg strong, front knee bending. Just take a moment, be in this pose. Yep, hands on blocks works fine. If there's another lunge position that works for you, that's fine. All right, then from here, we step to plank. And we come to low plank. Chaturanga is not in this sequence. This sequence has knees, chest, and chin. So that looks like this. You arch your back, squeeze your legs together. And then you keep your hips up, but you drop your chest and chin down towards the mat. It's like an inchworm pose. And then you slide off the toes onto your belly. Yep, push forward onto your belly. Come all the way down. That's it. And then cobra pose. So legs strong. Root your tailbone towards your pubic bone. Just do a hands-free cobra for a moment. Get the back muscles to turn on. That's it. Lift your hands, lift your shoulders. And then keeping those back muscles working, just see if you want to lift up a little higher. You don't even have to. You can just stay in that low cobra if that serves you. Keep your legs working, shoulders working, neck long. One more breath to just pour your intention into the pose. Good. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Knees and hips up. Take a long breath in, a long, slow exhale out. And again, this length of your dog, that's up to you. See what is working better for your body today. On your next inhale, step your right foot up between your hands if you need to take 2 or 3 steps. And if you need to, you can always use your hands to help bring your foot forward. That's always a helpful way to do it. You can reach behind your calf. Try to get your front foot flat on the floor. Yes, if you didn't quite land where you wanted to, that's it. Front foot flat. Good, just be here for a breath. Be here fully. It's like we create the form of the pose with our bodies, and then we make it yoga by being aware, by pouring our energy into it, pouring our hearts into it, pouring our intention into it. All right, inhale, step forward with your back foot. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, come up with a long spine again, reach and stretch up. And exhale, arms by your sides. Okay, we'll do that whole sequence one more time together. We'll go a little faster. Tadasana, breath, steady. On your next inhale, reach up. As you exhale, hinge forward and fold. As you inhale, lengthen out your spine out of your pelvis. As you exhale, bend your knees, step your left foot back this time. Good. Breathe in here. As you breathe out, plant your hands, step to plank. Good. Drop your knees. So you're in a long table, and then drop your chest and chin. Push off your toes, slide to your belly. Low cobra, high cobra, some cobra. Pelvis stays down for this one or as close to the floor as you can. Shoulders back, leg muscles working. One more breath to just be here in the pose. And then on an exhale, back to dog. Deep breath in. Long exhale out. Good. Inhale, step your left foot forward. Lunge. A breath here. And then step forward with your back foot. Take a couple of steps or one big step and fold over your legs. And then inhale and come on up, reach up. And exhale, arms by your sides. Okay, one more round on your own. I'll do it with you, but I'm not going to talk, to make your own ritual. If you want to add in, so some of you have been
doing yoga for many, many dozens of years. Some of you newer to yoga, just make it your own practice. Don't worry, again, don't worry too much about, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Breathe, move some way. We'll start together. Inhale, arms up. Meet back together in Tadasana, Hineni pose. Close your eyes for a moment. If you've lost your intention, if you've lost connection to breath, just come back to those things. Feel the effects of just how moving with breath just takes you out of your mind a little bit, takes you into your heart, takes you into that connection between spirit and body and what that feels like. All right, good. Let your eyes open. We're going to do a standing sequence now. So turn and face the long edge of your mat. Take your feet wide apart. Good. And then we're going to come to warrior two. So turn your right foot out. Line up your right heel with the instep of your left foot and then bend into your right knee. So your knee is right over your ankle. So if it's coming forward of your ankle, take a longer step. Yeah, so you could come a little longer if that's comfortable. Only because it's going to put a lot of pressure in the knee if the knee is coming over the ankle, forward of the ankle. We want it to be right over the ankle. Good. Make your back leg strong and let your arms extend out side to side. Good. Stretch your back leg a little longer, straighter. Stretch your arms a little straighter. Stretch your fingers a little longer. Gaze over your right fingers. And then just be here, creating sacred time for yourself, building strength in your body, building connection between breath and body, between heart and mind. Drop your back hand to your back leg. Turn your front palm up. Lean yourself back. That's it. Keep bending into the front knee as deeply as you can. That's it. And then reach all the way to your right fingertips back behind you. Good. On your next inhale, firm your right leg. So tone the muscles around the kneecap without locking out the knee, but make the leg really strong. Inhale, come up, and then hinge over into triangle pose. Legs stay straight. Right hand down. I'm sliding on this mat today. Right hand to your ankle or your shin or the floor or a block, whatever is available to you. And then just take your time. So let your body settle into the pose. Stack hips, stack shoulders, lengthen your neck. And then just be here with your breath, holding steady. One more breath. Just becoming the pose itself. Good. Push to your feet. Come on up. Turn your feet to parallel and fold to center. Good. Do that same thing we did in Uttanasana, where we sort of rocked forward and rocked back a little bit. And just find the balance between toes and heels. And make the toes and the heels equally important. Pressing down. And then if it's available to you, just keep walking your hands back between your legs, letting your neck extend, your head lengthen. If your back is pulling or it just feels really tight in the hamstrings, you can just do this with your knees a little soft. That helps mitigate that situation a little. Good. One more breath. Just let your head, your neck, your face soften a little more. Okay, good. Then turn your heels and toes out a little bit. You can come up now with straight legs, or you can bend your knees and walk your hands up your thighs, whatever's easier for you. Good. And then over to the other side. So turn your right foot in, turn your left foot out, starting in warrior two. Bend your left knee over your ankle. So again, look at that knee. See that it's pointing straight ahead. And if it's passing, so if it's coming over the toes, that's putting a lot of pressure into the ankle and into the knee. So just bring your heel right under your knee. All right, arms out to the sides. Sliding all over on this mat. Make your back leg strong. Press forward through your front knee. So notice, is it harder when we're moving faster and having to think about more complicated poses? Is it harder just to hold and to be here and to breathe? And just see if you can just keep coming back to the breath in that sacred moment for yourself. Drop your back hand, lean yourself back. Reverse warrior. Keep bending into the left knee, but reach back, lean back. Good, straighten your front leg. Tone the muscles of that leg. Inhale, come up, hinge over, triangle pose. Legs straight, or as straight as you can for this one. That's it. Take the hand as low onto the leg as you can, or onto the floor, onto a block, whatever works. Take a moment to just refine your pose, to stretch yourself more fully into it, to be here fully present with yourself, creating sacred time for yourself. Good. Inhale and come on up. Turn your toes parallel again. Sweep your hands behind your back. Lace your fingers together. Good. Stretch your arms straight back behind you. One more time. Hinge forward for a shoulder stretch. Arms towards the sky, head towards the floor. Good. And then just do a little rotating of shoulder blades. So slide your shoulders down your back a little bit, and then let your shoulders drop towards your ears and let your arms reach overhead. And then do the same thing. Slide them back a little, and then let them roll towards your ears. Just get a little movement in the shoulder blades. That's it. Yep. Okay, good. And then exhale, release your hands to the floor. Turn your toes out a little bit. If you need to bend your knees, bend your knees. Come on all the way up. Good. And step your feet together. All right, do a little march out because we were there for a while. We're going to do a couple of just hip stretches at the hip openers at the wall. You don't need to bring your mat with you unless you really feel like you need it, and then you can bring it. The first one is just this one. So you can just come to the wall. We're going to go right ankle on top of left knee, facing the wall, hands into the wall. So you can sort of push your hands into the wall. Yeah, face the wall. Bend your knees. Cross your right ankle on top. That's it. Good. Push your left knee down towards the floor. Oh, we are on different sides. Okay, whichever knee is on top, push that knee down towards the floor. It doesn't matter. We're going to do both, but yeah, we're going to do both. That ankle that's crossed over. Flex your toes, press that knee down towards the floor, and then press your hips back into the room. Yeah, push into the wall, push your hips back into the room. Maybe sit a little deeper into the standing leg. Yes, good. All right, and then inhale, come on up. That's it. And then switch your legs. Take a minute if you need a minute. When you're ready, switch. So other ankle on top. The ankle that's on top, just spread out those toes, make the foot active. Push the knee towards the floor. Push your hips back into the center of the room. Push into the wall. It's just giving you something, a little resistance, something to push against. That's it. Deborah, you could back up from the wall a little bit so you could feel like you're like, you know, if you feel like you're too close. All right, inhale, come on up. All right, one more here. We're just going to do a thigh stretch. We're going to do it at the wall. It's not about the balance here. It's about getting a good stretch for your thighs. We move into a couple back bends. So bend up your right knee, stand on your left leg. Good. And then notice, look down for a moment, see how the right knee likes to go out to the right, pop forward a little bit. So squeeze the legs in towards each other. They don't have to touch, but maybe about hip distance apart. And then pull your heel to your butt and move your knee back in space a little bit, keeping your heel in towards your butt, not kicking your foot back, but so that you're feeling a good stretch into the front of your thigh. That's it. And then a little more refining. So if this is a lot, just ignore me. But if you want a little more refining, tone your pelvic floor, tone your low belly, draw your pubic bone, your tailbone down, your pubic bone up as you pull your heel in. Okay, release that foot. Switch. Stand on your right leg. Catch your left foot behind you. Yeah, so it might be you have to go out to the side to find your foot. That's totally fine. Once you've got it, squeeze in so the thigh bones are parallel. Squeeze your heel towards your butt. press your knee back a little bit until you feel a big stretch into that left thigh, that left quadricep. Yeah. And then that refinement, that last refinement is pelvic floor drawing up, pubic bone lifting up, tailbone down. One more breath. Good. And release that foot. All right. Come on back to your mat. Now we'll work on a little balance. So I should have said, if you want to stay by the wall for balance, you can stay by the wall for balance. We're going to work on tree pose a little bit. So, all right, first thing, stand onto your right foot, spread out your toes. Yeah, coming off a squishy mat is a good idea. Standing on a more solid floor could be helpful. Okay, so notice as you shift your weight to your right foot, the hip likes to go with it, right? So squeeze your outer hip in. And then come up on the left tippy toes. Try to keep that hip in. We're going to keep the foot on the toes on the floor for a moment. So pivot the knee outwards. Press your knee back so you feel your butt muscles engage a little bit. Keep hugging that right hip in. Okay, maybe you're going to stay here. Maybe you'll come up a little bit. Maybe you want to come up a lot. As you lift your foot, keep hugging that outer hip in. And then arm position of your choice. You can go hands to heart. You can go arms out wide. That's a little better for balance. You can go arms straight up. That's it. Dig your heel in. Push with your heel. Squeeze your legs towards each other. That's it. And then just become the pose, become the breath. Make it a ritual moment. That's it. The socks aren't helping either. All right, exhale, hands down. Yeah, socks aren't going to help either. Socks make it slipperier. Okay, second side. So again, shift to your left foot, your left leg. Again, notice how everything wants to sort of shift. So hug that hip in. Turn your right knee out. Turn those glute muscles on. So there's an opening across the front of the pelvis. Maybe take the heel a little higher. Maybe take it a little higher. Again, I'm still squeezing the hip in. I'm digging in with my heel. Arm position of your choice. Yep, arms a little wide is helpful for the balance. Yeah. And then just, even if you're wobbly in your body, be steady in your breath. Be steady in your intention. Be steady, not in perfection and a perfect tree pose, but in staying connected to your intention, no matter what's happening, whether you're falling over or standing up. All right, release your hands and the foot. Okay, good. Come to the front of your mat. You may want to have blocks. Everybody sort of has blocks nearby, and put them in front of you just in case. You may need blocks for the next thing or two. I'm going to face this way. I'm trying to, yeah. All right, back to Tadasana. Hineni. Let your whole body feel that awareness, that ritual of saying, I'm here, I'm open, I'm doing the work, I'm doing my practice, I'm with my breath, I'm with my body. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, hinge forward. Okay, now we're going to go step back with the right foot and drop the right knee down to the mat. So if your knee feels sensitive, you can pull a blanket underneath your knee. You could fold your mat over if you need extra padding. The other thing you can do is let your hips shift forward so that you're not right on your kneecap, but you're like a little bit above the kneecap. Okay, now if this is a big, deep stretch for your hips, for knees, ankles, just stay right where you are. Squeeze the legs in a little towards each other. If you feel steady and balanced, squeeze your legs in, take your arms up. Good. Lengthen out of your pelvis. Grow your spine a little taller, your arms and fingers a little straighter. And then again, if this is where you need to stay and breathe and just do your pose here. If you want to take it a little deeper, pull your left heel towards your left sit bone. Maybe let the hips sit a little bit deeper, but not in a way that feels like a collapse, in a way that feels very active, that you're pulling your heel to your butt. All right, one more breath to just be here. Doing this pose, this ritual, this moment. All right, hands over to the right, inside your front foot. Okay, heel toe the left foot out to the left a little. And you could turn the foot on a diagonal a little bit. That might make it a little easier, your front foot. That's it. Then you're going to drop to your elbows. And if your elbows don't reach the floor, this is where your blocks might be helpful. You can put elbows onto blocks. Work to try to keep your left knee over your ankle. Keep your back leg engaged gently. That's it. Yeah. You could even use 2 blocks, Sharon, if that's easier. Put block under both if that might feel just like life's hard enough, make yoga easier. There you go. Yeah, is that okay? Yeah. All right, take a couple more breaths here. Just letting yourself settle. And in each breath, our practice becomes ritualistic. It becomes this sacred moment when we're fully present, when our awareness is focused skillfully on what we're doing, on how we're feeling, and on those deeper parts of ourselves. All right, inhale, bring yourself back up. And then just switch your feet, however it's easy for you. So left knee back, right foot forward. We'll start in this low lunge. So hands can stay on the floor. The action of pulling up into the pelvis is helpful to do, whether the hands stay on the floor or not. If you want to take the arms up, take your arms up. Good. Grow your torso taller. So lift your ribs up and off your pelvis a little bit. Maybe take your head and your shoulders back a little more. This pose is a back bend. Maybe you're feeling that. If you want to take it deeper, actively pull your right heel towards your right sit bone. Squeeze your legs towards each other. If you're hanging on for dear life, hang on and breathe. All right, hands over to the left inside your foot. Heel toe the right foot out. Turn it out a little bit. Yep. And then come down to your elbows. That's it. So, the way it goes is the easier the pose is, the more the mind wants to wander off, right? When our mind doesn't have to be so focused on where body parts go or so much sensation. But see if you can maintain this thread of connection to your intention through the whole practice, through the whole of the pose. And let that thread of intention elevate the moment to a moment of grace, to a moment of connection. Take 2 more breaths where you are. All right, good. Slowly inhale and come on up. Good. Come to tabletop. And then we're going to come to camel pose. So we're going to stand up on the knees. Again, if you need padding under your knees, fold your mat over, put a blanket underneath. Let's do this. Take a block, squeeze it between your inner thighs. This is going to help the low back. Keep the low back feeling a little less crunchy. All right, so squeeze your block with your legs. Tuck your toes under. We're going to start with toes tucked under like that. Okay, here's how we're first coming into the pose. Take your hands on your hips. Take a deep breath in and just get taller through your spine. Lengthen, roll your shoulders back. Okay, now turn to your right slightly. Look towards your right foot. Take your right hand to your right heel. If you can't reach, you could put your hand onto a block. I know I didn't tell you to put a block there. Okay, now let your left arm come up. That's it. Okay, now keep your right hand on your right foot. Start to turn your chest towards the ceiling. Lift your breastbone up. Maybe take your head back a little bit. So it's a little bit more of a back bend. Good. Push down through your knees. Inhale, come on up. Second side. Nice big breath in. Fill up. Get tall in the upper body. Turn left. Left hand to left foot. Right arm to the sky. And then start to turn your body to the right, your torso. So your right shoulder plugs back, your breastbone lifts up, look up towards the ceiling, lift your heart up. Good. And then inhale and bring yourself up. All right, good. Slide your block back, just sit onto it for a moment. So I was always taught you have to go back, both hands together for that, that was like the classical way. And if you're not doing it that way, you're doing it wrong, And again, it's fine to work towards a goal. But if coming into it from that side, like it's a little gentler to come in that way, right? A little gentler on the back, a little gentler on the shoulder. So if it works for you to just drop yourself back into the pose, by all means do that, right? If that works for your body. But we get stuck in these very rigid, like black and white has to be this way, whether it's towards our bar mitzvah or camel pose, right? Or our prayers in synagogue or whatever it is. I don't know. Well, that's a conversation. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm not going to say it. Okay. So camel pose, come back up onto your knees. Okay. You can continue to use the block. If that was helpful, put the block back between the inner thighs. If you want less of a back bend, tuck your toes. That's far, it's closer, right? You don't have to reach back as far. If you want a deeper back bend, untuck your toes, but keep your legs working. Everybody, deep breath in, curl back. And then just decide, are you going straight back? Are you going to go to one side and then the other? How are you going to do it? How is it going to become your ritual that fulfills your intention, that makes this moment sacred, beautiful, precious for yourself?
And then to come back up, lift up through your heart and bring yourself back up. Nice, you guys. Come to tabletop. Do a little circling of hips, a little cat and cow if that would feel good to you. That's it. And then swing yourself around, come down onto your back. And just hug your knees into your chest. That's it. And so even this, right? You can circle your knees together. You can circle one hand on each knee and circle your knees apart. Make it your moment here, your moment to cool down, to care for your body, to do what needs to be done to help your nervous system, your thoughts, your mind, your body to settle. If there's some other pose entirely you need to do, just go for it. Do that, some other stretch, some other movement. What is the ritual that helps move you towards quiet and calm and peace in your own heart? As you're ready, begin to make your way to Shavasana. Extend your legs and your arms. But if your back is feeling tight, you can separate your feet a little and just rock your hips a little side to side. And as you do that, roll your inner thighs down towards the floor a little more. Go a little wider with your feet, and that's going to help the low back feel a little more open and easy. Stretch your arms by your sides, let your fingers relax, turn your palms to the sky, and just a gesture of openness and receptivity. And just let yourself sink into the earth. Let your body relax. Let your breath become more steady and rhythmic and subtle. The muscles in your face soften, your eyelids. As the body just releases and lets go, draw your awareness inside. Draw deeper into the parts of yourself that are deeper than just body and thoughts and feelings and emotions and sensations. And into that ever-present indwelling Shekhinah, the indwelling spirit is part of you, with you always. Just simply have to connect to it. Gently now, allow for a deeper breath. Allow your body to stretch, move, and reawaken just gently. Bend your knees, roll to your side. And gently, slowly make your way back to a comfortable, steady seat. In my mind, rituals should be a connecting point to connect us to community, to connect us to each other, to connect us to God. And so if the rituals that you're doing serve that purpose, then wonderful. And if they're not, we can re-examine, because the reality is the world does not need someone who can recite, prayers in perfect repetition or do a most perfect sun salutation. The world is in great need of compassion and generosity and love and kindness. And so when we can engage in rituals that draw us towards those things, they draw us towards our higher self, our highest self, towards our God consciousness, towards God self. And then as we go out into the world, we can bring those qualities with us. Bring your hands together at your heart. And we'll close our time together with a shalom. If you'd like to join, take in a deep breath. Shalom. Thank you, ladies. Hope you have a great day. Thank you. Thanks, soon, friends. Thank you. Yes, so exciting.